Hey guys, it's Lindy.
And it's Mike here, and this is TIY.
The Tiny It Yourself channel, and today we're gonna show you how we're putting in our door.
We're gonna do it super quick because there are so many videos about this that go into extreme detail. There's just some slight different things we're doing because it's a tiny house. So let's go ahead and do it.
So a big difference with our door is that you can't just slide it directly in. As you can see, maybe right here, we have about a 2.5 foot gap up to where we have to put in our door. So that's gonna be a little bit difficult.
Okay, so you're supposed to do a bead of caulk about 1 inch from each side, and then sort of do a squiggly on the inside of that. We are going to use this all-purpose universal sealant silicone here. I'm going extra thick on this because we're not trying to let anything get under this door.
So instead of being able to just gently tilt the door and set it in like that, like you would if you had a door jamb that was lower to ground level, we have to lift ours above our frame and kind of gently go like that instead of twisting it in, or else we're gonna smear all the caulk on the bottom, which kind of defeats the purpose. Oh shit, I dropped it, I'm so sorry. So some of these doors already come with exterior trim on them or molding. We're gonna do our own cedar trim, so we're just making sure that our door jamb, this side right here, is flush with the outside sheathing so that when we go to put our cedar on, it lays nice and flush. So make sure after you set in your door to go around and use the level to see if it's level, because if it's not, it will not open and close properly, which will be extremely annoying. So as you probably can't see from this distance, this one is level, but if it wasn't, we would use these little guys, these shims, to go around and stick them in the frame where it needed leveling. You also will be using these shims. As you can see, we have a little bit of a gap here, and that's because your rough opening is a little bit bigger than your actual door frame size. So we'll be sticking these shims in this gap here in order to get a tighter fit. So after everything is all plumb and snug, you're gonna have to actually screw your door frame into your studs. So we're gonna use these R4 multi-purpose screws, which are what we use to adhere our sheathing to our metal studs. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link that down below. And we have to use these in order to get through our metal studs on our door frame as well. And what you wanna do is go behind the weather stripping here and kind of pull that back and then screw it in, because you want to be able to hide the screws. So we're going to screw one into the bottom, one in the middle, and one on the top on each side, and who knows, we might end up doing more than that because obviously we have a tiny house that moves, so more shaking, we're going to have to probably add more.
So you do have an option here to just unscrew one of these hinge screws and go all the way through, but just in case you want to switch the door out later, I'm just going to go directly behind the weather stripping on all of these screws. So you just got to make sure you got good coverage there. All right, you can't see it's there. Okay, it's getting a little dark there, so I'll show this again quickly now. So you can kind of get an idea of how far I need to be by holding the head there. And then it's also good to move the weather stripping aside so you don't cut it with the screw threads.
You may end up with a gap between your door frame and your stud depending on how large your rough opening was. As you can see here, we have a significant gap, and we will be filling that with spray foam, and then that will just get flattened out as we put our wall sheeting on top of that.
Okay, so as Lindy said, we're gonna fill the gaps with spray foam. This stuff is pretty widely available. It's definitely not eco at all, so I'm trying to use it only when I absolutely need to, and so let's give it a try. Okay. There it goes. Not sure how much it's gonna expand. Starting it kind of far back in the crack there. Okay, this stuff's pretty nasty. I'm definitely gonna have to trim some off. Okay, I'm gonna let go of the camera now because I'm sucking at filming and sucking at spray foaming. Okay, so here's the result. Pretty sloppy, but got the job done, and once it's trimmed, hopefully it will look good. Also, oops. I'm just using the Japanese saw here to trim off the excess foam. Okay, one final note for the small portion of people who are using steel studs like us. We noticed that because there's a lot of stress of the door from opening and closing, that it really helped to throw some blocks in on the other side of those screws and really get a good fit. So maybe even 3 on each side is good and 1 on top is what we did. So keep that in mind. So we also went ahead and put the hardware on, which is a little past the scope of this video, but we decided to go with a keypad that also has a fob remote unlock, which is cool, so we won't have to use our keys, hopefully. And since this was a new door, we did have to chisel these out, which was kind of annoying, but that's just something you kind of have to do. Okay, that's it for our door installation video. We're gonna go ahead and put our cedar trim on next, which is gonna be the exact same process as our cedar trim window video, so you can check that out.
Yep, and thank you to everyone who's been patient with our uploading schedule. We know it's been a while in between each video, but hopefully now that the weather is getting a little bit warmer, it will be more consistent. If you have any suggestions for future videos like how we financed our tiny house, let us know in the comment section down below. Also check out our Instagram, Tiny It Yourself, and thank you for watching.
All right, bye.
Bye.